Chapter 12, Secondary Universes. Brother Blackroots, I have a couple of questions. What happened to the past universe we came from? After it fills its mandate and comes to an end, does it just disintegrate? I'm really fascinated by the idea you put forth of a universe existing within the first Earth. Does this mean only the first Earth is a universe? When thinking on this, I have come to the conclusion that each and every planet is a universe. Similarly, hence the whole concept of infinity within infinity. Am I off track? Please elaborate. Thank you in advance. You are right on track, my brother. And to tell you the truth, I am quite impressed that you were able to figure that out independently. Keep it up, brother, and you will continue to get answers from your intuition about things that are more amazing than any person who is a product of this modern age can ever imagine. The past universe does not disintegrate. Once it reaches perfection, it remains in that state of perfection forever. All its energies have reached a state of perfect balance and harmony. All the planets have their axes reach a vertical position. They no longer wobble on their axis to make seasons. So they are all in an eternal spring like the first earth. All the living creatures and plants in it no longer evolve or die. They have reached the top of their evolutionary ladder and continue to exist forever in a state of perfection. So these universes are still there, but they are not permanently occupied by people. They are occupied only by non-human creatures that the gods created to live in them. New people only go there to study them and gain knowledge about the past. When our universe reaches its mandate and comes to an end, we will all enter into the state of divine unity where each one of us as individuals knows him and herself as the one and only God. We will comprehend all the universes of the past since the beginning that has no beginning. We, the new personalities who have never existed before, will encompass them all in that timeless moment and absorb all that they are into ourselves and use it as wisdom when we create the next universe. So you see, each new universe encompasses and includes all the wisdom gained from all past universes in their infinitude. As to your second question about infinity within infinity, it's like this. The universe we live in at present can be called a primary universe, for lack of a better word. A primary universe is one that is created immediately after another primary universe has fulfilled its purpose and has come to an end. It has become the first Earth of the new universe. That old universe is called a past universe, or the universe that existed immediately before our universe. It too was a primary universe. There are other universes that are not primary, but may be called secondary universes. A secondary universe is a universe that is created from the atoms of the planets of the primary universe. These atoms are located on what may be called the second level, third level, fourth level of atomic structure, and so on back to infinity. Secondary universes are created within the solar system planets that were formed around the first Earth by the condensation of God's mind. As a matter of fact, that is part of the reason why God condenses new solar systems out of his and her mind, precisely so that there will be trillions upon trillions of new planets that will become secondary universes on these multiple levels below. So how are these secondary universes created? First of all, they are created by the people that inhabit the new solar systems of the primary universe, such as our ancestors when they came here from Sirius. The inhabitants of the first Earth do create secondary universes also. They create them within other planets that are a part of their solar system. Soon after the settlers occupy a new solar system, after about 7,000 years, when they have settled down on their new Earth and made it a comfortable home, a group of 144,000 will get together and formulate a plan for the creation of a secondary universe out of the atoms of their own planet and other planets in their solar system. These secondary universes are created on the third level of the Earth's atomic structure and below the third level as well. They go to the second level, the level just below us, and choose a suitable planet. Then descend into the second level of that planet, which would be the third level from the point of view of our Earth. The secondary universes are created only by senior citizens who have completed all 7 great rituals of the Black nation and have become full gods. They engage in this creation as their last project before they ascend. They form a group of 144,000 people to take part in this creative endeavor. As I noted earlier, these universes are not primary universes. They have a different purpose than that of a primary universe, and thus do not require the participation of all 1,008,000,000 gods. Since the planets of those third level universes are themselves made of atoms, and those atoms as well are made of atoms, there is no end to the number of levels within a single planet. The creators are able to descend further and further into the atomic structure of the planet and find more universes within, such that every generation of senior citizens is able to locate a new level where they can engage in these creations. The first inhabitants of our Earth, the 144,000 that came from Sirius, created the very first secondary universe to ever be created within our Earth. They created it on the third level of atomic structure of our planet. Then, after our Earth's population had increased, another group of 144,000 descended also, and they created another secondary universe. And then later, a third group did the same, and so on and so on. It has been going on now for 78 trillion years, and our ancestors have reached many levels below our Earth's atomic structure. The levels that exist within the Earth's atomic structure are beyond the numbers of modern mathematics. The movement of the planets within the Earth's atoms are of the order of 7,000 trillion years per second. In other words, when 1 second has passed on Earth, over 7,000 trillion years have passed on the second level, the level just below us. On the level below that, i.e., 2 levels below us, the planets orbit around their sun in the order of 7,000 trillion times 7,000 trillion years per second, or 49 million trillion years in 1 second of Earth time. Of course, this does not mean the planets hurtle around their sun at unimaginable speeds. They revolve around their sun just like our Earth revolves around our sun. So when you are on that level, the planetary movement appears just like normal. But if you could see them from our Earth, you would see them going around 49 million trillion times in 1 second. That incredibly large time differential is precisely the reason why the gods create secondary universes on the third level and below, and not on the second. Remember, each universe takes about 875 trillion years to reach completion. And for the third level, that is only about 6 to 7 months on Earth. On the second level, the time would be way too long, way beyond the 7,000-year lifespan of the creators. What is to us the second level will become the third level for the people of the next universe, and they will create there. Thus, they're able to create a brand new universe on the third level and see it reach completion in its allotted time of 875 trillion years, which is how long it takes for it to reach perfect harmony of all its universal energies. And during all those trillions of years, only 7 months pass here on Earth. When they decide to create a secondary universe, they cooperate in a group of 144,000, as I said, 72,000 men and 72,000 women, or 72,000 soulmate couples. The first time they descend to the third level, they all sleep for 3 days in a temple they call the Temple of Universe Creation. This temple has 144,000 stone coffins, or what modern Egyptologists call sarcophagus, in which they lay down their bodies. The temple priests attending to their bodies are able to use the magnetic quality of the stone coffins to preserve these bodies in perfect comfort during the 3-day rest period. The bodies lay in there without touching the stone, floating in a soft magnetic field. So they do not descend to the third level in their physical bodies, but only in their minds, sort of like a group lucid dream. They lie down in these coffins and use the properties of the stone to facilitate the unity of their minds and the coherence of their lucid dream, for a lack of a better word, and then all descend mentally as one. That first time, they will live continuously on the third level for 1,000,000,000 years, exactly as our ancestors, the original gods, did when they created this universe. But when that entire 1,000,000,000 years has passed on the third level, only a fraction of a microsecond has passed on Earth. Nonetheless, they have to sleep for the entire 3 days in order for their bodies, especially their brains, to acclimate to their minds upon their return, because the mind comes back with 1,000,000,000,000 years worth of new information, experiences, and wisdom, and all that has to be harmonized into their bodies. If they wake up too soon and it's not properly harmonized, there is the possibility that some of that knowledge would be lost in the brain's memory circuits. This harmonization is done using special rituals that are performed by the temple priests who attend to their bodies while they are gone, so to speak. The English language here is beginning to lack quite a bit, making it difficult to convey these concepts. When they get there, they live in new bodies that they create instantly upon arrival on the central planet of that universe, which they use as their first Earth or headquarters. Then they organize the sun systems of that universe until they attain a setup that is in accordance with their plan. Unlike with the creation of a primary universe, they do not create new sun systems by condensation of the mind. All the sun systems of that universe already exist, so they rearrange them according to plan. And this takes approximately 1,000,000,000 years, during which they live continuously. They also create perfect plants and animals on that central Earth, exactly as is done during the creation of a primary universe. Then, at the end of the 1,000,000,000 years, they create new beings to populate their universe. Then they return to Earth. The beings that they create in these secondary universes are not what would be called human. They are not animals either, but are somewhat midway between human and animal. They are much more intelligent than the highest animals, In fact, they were created right from the beginning, having maximum intelligence. That means they are able to take custodianship of their universe from their makers and run that universe with 100% efficiency, as if they were they are an integral part of nature. That is actually what they are. They are elements of nature in semi-human form with the full capacity of nature's intelligence. These universes are created fundamentally for the purpose of being the gardens of the ancestors, where they cultivate their original ideas and bring them into physical manifestation. They are also created for the purpose of being studied by future generations. These perfect, intelligent creatures in these universes are created primarily for the purpose of transforming those universes to please their creators. The transformations they come up with are totally original, coming from their own native intelligence, but are colored by the intentions of their creators, so to speak. Thus, when they make these improvements, not only are such modifications pleasing to all who visit, but are at the same time a pleasant surprise even to their very creators. These creatures do not have a creative component within them, i.e., they are not able to come up with new creations. They can only improve what has been given to them, and the improvements they can make are without limit. Also, they are not able to reproduce themselves. Their numbers can only be increased by their creators, and this does happen when the creators decide that more of the beings are needed. Once they are created, they never die. They live forever, being sustained by certain pure energies of their universe. At the end of the trillion years, when the creators have finished with their universal setup, the universe at that point will continue automatically following the natural laws established by the creators. After the creators leave, the creatures then take over as permanent custodians of the universe and proceed to modify and improve it in line with the natural laws. These creatures also have a very powerful mental ability to preserve the different stages that the universe goes through as it changes. In other words, they are able to preserve a copy of the universe exactly as it was in the beginning, and at every stage after that when modifications were made. They use their mental powers to turn these preserved stages into what may be called museums, for a lack of a better word. When visitors arrive in their universe, they are able to present these museum stages to them in sequence, showing where they started and all the modifications they have made. Not only that, but by the same power, they are able to project into the future for many billions of years to reveal what their next improvements will look like. So even those people who visit such a universe closer to its beginning point are able to see what it will look like at different stages in the future. These museum stages are not just a projection, though. They actually are able to recreate any part of their universe as it was back in time. Thus, people who visit there will spend long periods in a past stage of the universe that they like, or go through all the stages from beginning, observing all the major changes that have taken place, right down to the present, as well as project into the future to see upcoming changes. As I said, only senior citizens who have completed all seven great rituals are able to create these secondary universes. But all other people are able to visit these universes as tourists, so to speak. As soon as the creators return from the third level, there is a rush by all the younger citizens to descend and see what has been newly created. Top priority is given to the youngest, those who will be descending for the first time, because it is much easier for them to descend to the second and third level than it is to descend to levels that are below the third. They have to complete at least one of the seven great rituals before they can have the ability to descend below the third level. Even going to the third level, they are accompanied by some senior citizens. When they descend, they use the same temple of creation and go in groups of 144,000 plus the teachers who accompany them. They sleep in the temple for 3 days, and when they get to the secondary universe, they spend as much time as they need to tour the entire creation and gain as much knowledge as they need about how universes are created. Knowledge that they will put to use when they become senior citizens and create their own secondary universe. They can be there for as short as 7,000 years or much, much longer than that. Yet they will awaken on Earth after 3 days, regardless of how short or how long they were in the secondary universe. During this 3 day period, when they are down there, they will usually split into smaller groups. Some people will spend a long time in one or two universes, while others will spend short periods in many different universes, spreading across to many planets of the second level that have been turned into secondary universes. Those who are able to, who have completed some of the great rituals, will descend even further down into universes that were created trillions of years ago by our remote ancestors. When our primary universe comes to an end, all the knowledge and wisdom gained from all the endless secondary universes will become part of the plan for creating the next universe, just as our universe was created by incorporating the wisdom gained from all the secondary and primary universes of the past.